تیری بنا پائیدار تیرے ستوں بے شمار، شام کے صحرا میں ہو جیسے ہجوم نخیل، تیرے در و بام پر وادی ایمن کا نور، تیرا مینار بلند جلوہ گہے جبرائیل، مٹ نہیں سکتا کبھی مرد مسلمان کے ہے، اس کی اذانوں سے فاش سر کلیم و خلیل، اس کی زمیں بے حدود، اس کے سمندر کی موج دجلہ و دنیوب و نیل، اس کے زمانے عجیب، اس کے فسانے غریب، عہد کہن کو دیا اس نے پیام رحیل، ساقی ارباب شوق، ساقی ارباب ذوق، فارس میدان شوق، بادہ ہے اس کا رحیق، تیغ ہے اس کی اصیل، مرد سپاہی ہے وہ، اس کی زرہ لا الہ، سایہ شمشیر میں اس کی پناہ لا الہ، تجھ سے ہوا آشکار بندہ مومن کا راز، خیال عظیم اس کا سرور، اس کا شوق، اس کا نیاز، اس کا ناز، ہاتھ ہے اللہ کا بندہ مومن کا ہاتھ، غالب و کار آفریں کار کشا و خاکی و نوری نہاد، بندہ مولا صفات، ہر دو جہاں سے غنی اس کا دل بے نیاز، اس کی امیدیں قلیل، اس کے مقاصد جلیل، اس کی ادا دل فریب، اس کی نگاہ دل نواز، نرم دم گفتگو گرم دم جستجو، رزم ہو یا بزم ہو پاک دلو پاک باز، نقطہ پرکار حق مرد خدا کا یقین، نقطہ پرکار حق مرد خدا کا یقین، اور یہ عالم تمام وہم و طلسم و مجاز، عقل کی منزل ہے وہ، عشق کا حاصل ہے وہ، حلقہ آفاق میں گرمی محفل ہے وہ۔ اب اس بات کی تفصیل کا وقت تو نہیں ہے، لیکن قائد اعظم محمد علی جناح کے جتنے ایٹریبیوٹس تھے ان کی پرسنالٹی کی پوری ریفلیکشن آپ کو اس نظم میں نظر آتی ہے، اور وہ عشق جو اقبال کو قرطبہ سے تھا وہی عشق آپ کو پاکستان کی صورت میں اس نظم کے اندر جھلکتا ہوا ملتا ہے۔ اس لیے یہ ہمارے لیے پاکستانیوں کے لیے یہ ایک اعزاز ہے کہ ہم چھوٹے لوگوں کے ہاتھوں تخلیق نہیں ہوئے، جن لوگوں نے ہماری تقدیر کو اللہ تعالیٰ کے مدد سے، اس کی تائید سے ڈیزائن کیا، وہ اپنے وقت کے وہ لوگ تھے جنہوں نے نہ صرف اپنے ارد گرد بیٹھنے والے لوگوں کو انفلوئنس کیا ہے، بلکہ انہوں نے اپنے بعد آنے والی پوری اپنی قوم کی تاریخ کو انفلوئنس کیا ہے۔ میں بار دیگر آپ تمام تشریف لانے والے معزز مہمانان گرامی کا تہ دل سے شکریہ ادا کرتا ہوں، اور تمام سپیکرز کا بھی میں تہ دل سے شکریہ ادا کرتا ہوں۔ تھینک یو ویری مچ۔
Thank you very much, Sahibzada Sahab, for your wonderful remarks and opening remarks. خودی خودداری کی بات اکثر ہوتی ہے، اور علامہ محمد اقبال کے کلام کا جو ماخذ ہے وہ بھی یہی نکلتا ہے کہ ہمیں اپنے آپ کو پہچاننا ہے۔ اور جس طرح سے صاحبزادہ صاحب نے فرمایا کہ قائد اعظم محمد علی جناح اس کا ایک مجسم تھے، اور اس سے جو بہت بڑی ہسٹری میں ایک ایگزامپل ہمیں ملتی ہے جو انہوں نے سیٹ کی، وہ یہ کہ جب انہیں جب کانگریس سے کچھ نہ بن پایا، برٹش راج سے کچھ نہ بن پایا، تو انہوں نے آفر دی کہ آپ کو ہم پرائم منسٹر کا جو عہدہ ہے وہ دیتے ہیں، آپ یونائٹڈ جو ہندوستان ہے یا انڈیا ہے اس کا پرائم منسٹر قبول کریں۔ تو ان کا جواب یہ تھا کہ میں اپنی قوم کو کیسے بیچ دوں۔ تو یہ مجسم تھا، یہ خودی کا تھا، سیلف سینٹرک نہ ہونا تھا، بلکہ کسی کے لیے اپنی جان، اپنے لیے اپنے آپ کو قربان کرنا تھا اس قوم کے لیے۔ سو موونگ فارورڈ، Now I invite Dr. Talib Hussain Sial, who is former director IRD, International Islamic University. He is a renowned expert on Iqbaliyat. So welcome Dr. Talib Hussain Sial Sahab.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Excellencies, Ambassador of Azerbaijan, Ambassador of Kazakhstan, Chairman Muslim Institute Sultan Ahmad Ali Sahab, Yasir Malik Sahab. The topic is thoughts and influence of Iqbal. Iqbal is relevant in 20th century, and Iqbal is also relevant in 21st century, and he will be relevant in future also. Why Iqbal is so popular among Muslims and non-Muslims and other scholars? Because it is his quest for knowledge, versatile knowledge, knowledge of East and West. If you go through his famous 7 lectures, Reconstruction of Religious Thought in Islam, you will come to know that he had referred the works of 35 Western scholars, scientists, and mathematicians. 34, out of whom 25 was his contemporaries. He has also given references from the books of Muslim mystic, Muslim scholars and philosophers, and they were about 15. He had read the philosophy of East and West and very well-known books of East and West, but his source of inspiration was Quran. In the Reconstruction of Religious Thought, he has given 127 references from the Holy Quran. He used to recite Holy Quran early in the morning. So his source of inspiration was Quran, and when he has delivered lectures, these 6 lectures, 1 lecture was delivered in Britain in the Society of Philosophy. Sir Ras Masood, he was Vice Chancellor of Aligarh University. He had stated in his welcome address that when I was hospitalized in British hospital, the only source of consolation for me was 1,000 verses, poetic verses of Dr. Iqbal, which I remembered by heart. सर रास मसूद ने कहा वेलकम एड्रेस में कि जब मैं लंदन के एक अस्पताल में दाखिल था तो मेरी तसल्ली और मेरी तस्कीन का बायस अलामा इकबाल के 1000 अशार थे जो मुझे ज़बानी याद थे. This was the influence of Dr. Iqbal in his age, in his time. And now there is an influence of Dr. Iqbal in the West. And Mary Shimal, the famous Sufi saint, she said that Allama Muhammad Iqbal was not a prophet, but he had touched wings of Jibreel. Her famous book's name is Wings of Jibreel. Allama Iqbal was relevant in his age, he was relevant in the modern age, and he had predicted when he visited Masjid-e-Qurtuba. Aabe Rawane Kabir, Aabe Rawane Kabir, tere kinare koi dekh raha hai, ki zamane ka khab. Aabe Rawane Kabir, this is a river in Kartaba. Aabe Rawane Kabir, tere kinare koi dekh raha hai, aur zamane ka khab, aur zamane ka khab, आलम नौ पर्दाए तकदीर में है, मेरी निगाहों के सामने है, Sahar, uski sahar be hijab. He has predicted that there will be a new world. And his prediction proved true. In the 20th century, so many Muslim countries got independence. Who was his teacher? Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi. Jalaluddin Rumi is widely read nowadays in Europe and in East and West. He is the most popular poet, philosopher in the world. And Allama Iqbal recognized his scholarship. He said, Pir Rumi khakra aksir kard. Pir Rumi khakra aksir kard. Az ghubaram jalwaha tamir kard. So Maulana Rumi is popular, and Dr. Muhammad Iqbal is, I think, in the modern age, his popularity circles are more wider because his intellectual discourses are on various subjects, on political science, on psychology, on on economics. You would be knowing that Allama Iqbal had written first book on economics. Its name was Ilmul Iqtasad. So Allama Iqbal is very popular among all scholars and even the common people. And in Pakistan, in Iran, I went to Iran, and I was told by the vice chancellor of a university that we do not give admission to any student in the university unless he has remembered 100 verses of Dr. Iqbal by heart. उस वक्त तक किसी तालिब इल्म को यूनिवर्सिटी में दाखिला नहीं मिलता जब तक उसको अल्लामा इकबाल के 100 अशार ज़बानी याद ना हो। आप इससे अंदाज़ा लगाइए अल्लामा इकबाल की मकबूलियत का, अल्लामा इकबाल के असर रसूख का। अल्लामा इकबाल के अशार उलमा भी पढ़ते हैं अपनी तकरीरों को दिल पजीर करने के लिए। अल्लामा इकबाल के अशार सियासतदान भी पढ़ते हैं, अल्लामा इकबाल के अशार प्रोफेसर भी पढ़ते हैं। लेकिन मुझे अफसोस है कि अमल हम नहीं करते। I congratulate Muslim Institute. According to me, Muslim Institute is a leader in arranging such discourses, such conferences. They have always arranged conferences on current affairs, on very eminent personalities. Thank you very much, my dear ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, and thank you for the guest.
Thank you very much, Dr. Talib Hussain Thial, for your remarks. और बिल्कुल आपने सही कहा कि थॉट्स जब फ्रूटफुल होंगी, जब हमें प्रैक्टिकल भी नज़र आएगा। और हमें अपने आप से ये सवाल लाजमी पूछना है कि अल्लामा इकबाल की जो टीचिंग्स हैं उससे हमने बहसियत कौम एज अ नेशन क्या सीखा है और क्या उसको कन्वर्ट किया प्रैक्टिकली। इकबाल जो हैं सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के नहीं, बर सग़ीर के नहीं, बल्कि इकबाल सबके हैं। और यही वजह है, जिस तरह से विजन की आपने बात की, तो इकबाल ने बहुत पहले ये कह दिया था कि गिरा ख्वाब चीनी संभलने लगे, हिमालय के चश्मे उबलने लगे, गया दौर सरमायादारी गया, तमाशा दिखा के मदारी गया। इकबाल ने उस वक्त ये प्रिडिक्ट कर दिया था कि जो पिवट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड आगे आने वाले टाइम में होगा वो ईस्ट होगा, मशरिक होगा। और अब मैं दावत दूंगा Ambassador of Kazakhstan, His Excellency Yerzhan Kistafin, who remained ambassador, and 2019 to 2021 he remained Minister of Consular of the Embassy of the Republic of Kazakhstan to USA, and now since May 18, 2021, Ambassador remained extraordinary and plenipotentiary of the Republic of Kazakhstan to the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. I welcome to the stage Excellency Yerzhan Kazakhstan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I would like to thank for kind invitation His Excellency Sahibzada Sultan Ahmed Ali. For me, it's a great honor to be here today to address the audience, and I hope that after this event I will learn more about the great thinker of Asia. So, just wanted to tell you that I came back on Thursday from Lahore, and I have had an opportunity to visit the Bachahi Mosque, and I had a great privilege to visit the mausoleum of great thinker Allama Muhammad Iqbal. So, you know, in my humble opinion, it is extremely difficult to assess the legacy of such an outstanding, bright, multifaceted personality as Allama Iqbal. Sometimes his visionary thoughts and ideas were ahead of his time. Let me give you just one example. The great thinker of Islam, Allama Muhammad Iqbal, foresaw the significance of Central Asian region in the time to come, and suggested to lay a railway track from Kabul to Istanbul through the Central Asian region to promote trade and communication amongst the Muslim world. Nowadays, I have to say that we are working on this issue. And I fully agree with the previous speaker that the legacy of Allama Muhammad Iqbal is relevant today. I would even say it is extremely relevant today. And now I must say that activity is the name of. We work on establishing direct, effective communications between Central Asia and Pakistan. And he said this, you know, almost 100 years ago. And now we are working on this very important issue. We believe that for Central Asia, it is extremely important to be, you know, closely interrelated, connected with Pakistan. Even in terms of our economic cooperation, I must say that, as you might know, for example, Kazakhstan is the biggest landlocked country in the world. And in general, the Central Asian region is the landlocked country region. So for us, it is of utmost importance to have access to the warm waters, to the open sea. And in this term, Pakistan can provide us the shortest route. So, you know, for me it's kind of outstanding, I would say, and remarkable thoughts of such a great thinker. And it is another example of his broad thoughts. It is well known that Allama Muhammad, creator of Pakistan, as a person who inspired millions of people to be in favor of, you know, establishing a country for Muslims. But his thoughts, his vision, his ideas was much broader, and he thought not about only a country for Muslims, but in general about cooperation between Muslim countries. Muhammad Allama Iqbal also was one of the first Pakistani thinkers, Abu Nasr al-Farabi and Jalaluddin Rumi and some others. So even in this term, I see a great and close connections between our thinkers, and it is another example, prior example of how our great thinkers, our great philosophers were connected. Muhammad Iqbal created his conception of the ideal society continuing the tradition of Al-Farabi, Ibn Sina, Biruni, who themselves in their turn developed their ideas on ideal and fair society on the theories of Plato and Aristotle. To be honest with you, the more I read about biography of a great philosopher, of a great thinker, the more I was firmly convinced on the utmost importance of education. It's well known that he was extremely well-educated person. He studied in Asia, in Europe, and I believe that it gave him it created such a solid foundation for developing his thoughts, for developing his ideas. And this is why nowadays, again, I again must say that his ideas and his example, he set a great example, is extremely relevant today. And nowadays we have a very special focus on developing cooperation with our Pakistani brothers, not only in terms of our trade and economic cooperation, but also, and maybe first of all and foremost, we are focused on developing cooperation between our universities. We are focused on developing, cooperation between our scholars, between our students, so on and so forth. We believe that, cooperation is our future. A well-educated young generation is the bright future. So that's why we should pay a very special attention to, educational organizations. Allama Iqbal left this world being only 60 years old, but his philosophical legacy, cultural heritage will stay forever. And, we, in terms of developing cooperation, cultural ties between our countries, we have this thought, and I discussed this proposal with the governor of Punjab to twin our spiritual capitals. It's well known that Lahore is the cultural capital of a beautiful country. And we have this idea to twin Lahore with Turkestan. Turkestan in our country, in Kazakhstan, is considered as a cradle of the Turkic civilization and nomadic civilization. And we believe that establishing such cooperation at the regional level could be extremely useful in terms of, raising awareness of our societies, on our common cultural, legacy between Central and Southern Asia. And next year we will be celebrating 145th anniversary of the Allama Muhammad Iqbal, and we are organized in Kazakhstan. Inshallah, we are planning to organize it either in Almaty or in Turkestan, and this conference will be dedicated to the legacy of Allama Muhammad Iqbal, and I hope that this conference will be, thank you. This conference will be another example of the relevancy of his thoughts, nations closer to each other. Thank you once again for your attention and your invitation.
Thank you very much, Excellency, and thank you very much on behalf of all the Pakistanis for this initiative that you are going to take in your country. This is indeed a great initiative. So now I will request Ambassador of Azerbaijan, Khazar Farhadov. Pardon me for my pronunciation. He was awarded with the Taragi Medical Medal by the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Taragi, as he mentioned, it's about his contribution towards his fields, and definitely he was awarded for the contribution, for the immense contribution that he did for his country, his nation, and also for the other nations as well. So, Ambassador Azerbaijan, Khazar Farhadov. Excellency, please.
I was so eager to come to first here. Assalamu alaikum. Well, good afternoon. Respected guests, dignitaries, scholars, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to congratulate Muslim Institute for organizing such a, which relate not only Pakistan national values, also the values of all Muslim world. And also I would like to thank for invitation, me having honor to participate in this important event. First of all, I would like to pay rich tribute to great thinker, philosopher, and poet, Allama Muhammad Iqbal. This is an occasion to recall and pledge ourselves to follow his message of self-awareness and self-esteem. Ladies and gentlemen, Allama Muhammad Iqbal was a recognized writer and poet. He was profoundly keen on the issues that have tested the best personalities of mankind, the issues of significance of life, change and consistency, opportunity and determinism, endurance and progress, the connection between the body and the spirit, reasons and feeling, the position and job of individuals in the universe, and other such matters. Allama Muhammad Iqbal led the Muslims at every step and considered Islam a complete of life. He clarified the glorious image of Muslims, Ummah, and produced a large which indicate his immense love for his homeland. His perspective was not confined just to South Asia, but had been extended to cover the entire world of Islam, which knows no bounds of territory, race, and caste. Allama Muhammad Iqbal performed as an advocate of humanism, global peace, and cordial relations between East and West on peaceful and tolerant values. He awakened the Muslims' material spiritual development in the 20th century. He acted as a poet, philosopher, lawyer, and teacher. As an illuminator, reformer, and politically active, also gave concept for establishment of the statehood in the Islamic world. The human factor is the main subject of Allama Muhammad Iqbal's thinking. The poet-thinker perceived Islam society as well as human pride as the centrifugal force of the whole world, and considered creative and moral relations as an important factor in solving the problem of human society. The questions that he adopted on the social and philosophical thinking of the East and the West were also directed to this important problem. Allama Muhammad Iqbal spoke from the position of Islamic religion and at the same time correctly assessed the role of Islam in modern world. Also invited the Islamic world to develop science and education. As previous speakers mentioned about it, it was relevant for the future. Literary and philosophical works of Allama Muhammad Iqbal, who has deep knowledge of Quran, is also welcomed in my country, in Azerbaijan, and his literary heritage still being studied by the Azerbaijani researchers. As a renowned philosopher, his globally valued ideology was highly appreciated all around the Muslim world, as well as in the academic circles in Azerbaijan, as in the world of philosophy and literature. Some pieces, as well as Homeland, were translated into Azerbaijani even in the mid of 20th century, when my country was part of Soviet Union. Certainly, from the 20th century on, his poems and philosophical pieces are being translated into Azerbaijani also. In the 21st century, studies on his works involve translation into Azerbaijani, further studies of his literary works, particularly poems, philosophical and religious works. The mentioned attitudes towards studying Allama Muhammad Iqbal cover a number of paperwork, book, dissertations, and other kind of publications in my country. Just one of his examples, the Institute of Literature, named after Nizami Ganjavi, Azerbaijan's great poet, of Institute of Azerbaijan National Academy of Science, and the Aba Writers Union of Azerbaijan have published selected works of prominent Pakistani poet Muhammad Iqbal. The book includes translations of poems by Pakistani poet, thinker Muhammad Iqbal, written in Urdu and Persian. These poems are mainly selections from authors' books such as The Voice of the Caravan Well, Message of the East, Kurtuba Mosque, Bandagin Mana, Yeni Gulshan Rais, that all translated and included in the book. The publication of works of Allama Muhammad Iqbal, one of the prominent creators of Pakistani literature, in Azerbaijan is a high respect and great love of my people to the friendly and brotherly country of Pakistan, and it is literature and culture. That book, already just few days ago, was presented at the Pakistani Literature Research Center of the Institute of Literature, named after Nizami Ganjavi. In particular, there was great interest in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijani philosophy scholar, Doctor of Philology Basira Azzalieva, and Doctor of Philosophy Professor Könül Bünyadzada are engaged in researching the life and work of prominent classical Pakistan literature, Muhammad Iqbal. And their research on Muhammad Iqbal's social philosophical views, especially at an international scientific conference, there was her reports, our professors, which held at the University of Lahore in Pakistan 3 years ago. But Professor Bashira Azzaliyeva's monograph, The Life and Creativity of Muhammad Iqbal, is a scientific expression of high respect of my people. This year, at the initiative of the World Turkish Academy, Iqbal's book, Reconstruction of Islamic Thought, was translated into Azerbaijani. That shows the interest and the respect to Muhammad Iqbal's works, not only in just Azerbaijan, but all in Turkish world. In conclusion, I would like to underline once again that Azerbaijan literary scholars highly value Mr. Iqbal as poet, philosopher, and social political thinker. And I hope we will continue to expand and deepen joint works in researching our national values and make ever aware our coming generations. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Also, we really appreciate the work which is being done in your country on Allama Muhammad Iqbal's working, his poetry. The speakers for this session, first session, now it's concluded. I would like to request speaker of the first session to please come forward for the group photo. And after that,